Okay, the recording seems to be cutting out a bit, so okay, so I'm in the city of Sydney, and I'm just making this early morning recording of basically what I would say is a human mind control suburb or a city, because it's not just this suburb. It's very pronounced. The actual inner west section of the city of Sydney is what you would call a total city or a total inner west. It's a military operation that actually takes place around a human being, because it's like where you have every or most human beings part of surveillance. This is normal in some places in the world, I am told, where surveillance, like computer surveillance of the human being, is actually normal. You have the same thing in Sydney, except that it's hidden. This is what I experience every day. So I'm aware that they're watching, stalking, and it is stalking in the sense that it's not just watching or surveillance. It's stalking in the sense that it's oppressive and intimidating, because it's not just about the traffic coming past watching you. Because theoretically speaking, if they just watched and didn't actually make, say, aggressive, negative sounds at you, and if they didn't always come into your sight, always, in other words, like even if the stalking, patrolling civilians didn't always have to make their presence felt to where you always see them. In other words, you could have like stalkers that, or even surveillance where it's hidden, or at least to where it's not intrusive. But they actually are intrusive. That's because they're actually trying to control you as well as watch. And, so it's total surveillance, but it's also total control. So also, I don't agree with any surveillance at all. Never have. That's just me personally, because I tend to like privacy. Some people might say, why do you need privacy? Why do you like privacy? Have you got something to hide? That's the android's perception, and that's this community, the inner west section of the city of Sydney, which is a community or a religion or a cult or use whatever word you want. But they all have the same mind, and that's why I see it from a more mind level, or even a more religious level, because it strikes me that if you've got negative mindsets to where people feel the pressure and the need to constantly surveil a human being for no apparent purpose, because it's not like the human being is working against them, it's not like the human being is interested in them. In fact, the human being is only doing very mundane things every day. And yet that seems to be regarded as though you're doing something very nefarious or something. And this is not acceptable. Well, it's not acceptable to me. Obviously, it's acceptable to them because they do it every day. But I'm just trying to explain it, how that you do have this surveillance system. In other words, you do have total monitoring of a human being. And it goes beyond just watching, observing. and it goes into trying to control mentally and physically your actual movements. But it's also about suppression and what they call oppression, because they are also sending negative energy at your body. So that means they're not just trying to control where you walk, they're actually trying to stop you from walking around. They're actually trying to limit you physically. But also they have technology which is actually transhumanism, so it's mind control, so they're reading your thoughts. So basically you have got no life or mind of your own. It's total human invasion. It is transhumanism, that's the only word I can use. But it's like, hold on here, I'll just turn this off, I think. I think I'll turn this whole thing off. Actually, if I turn the whole thing off, I think I've now gone into the dark. So I have to stand over here a bit of light because, because I just turned the computer screen off, or the television screen off. It's only the YouTube really, because I don't actually own a computer. They say if you can't beat them, join them. Well, in a way, like, I can't stop the surveillance, I can't stop the control patrol system around me. What I'm trying to say is that, let me see if I can just get here a bit of light. I don't want to go outside again just at this moment. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, like in the city of Sydney, you have the same as in what we would call total 100% human surveillance going on, except that it's not just surveillance, it is mind reading. They're using technology where they have, I think the word is interfaced with the human mind, but that just simply means that somehow they're using technology to read my thoughts. So they're taking my ideas, my thoughts, my feelings about things. Everything that is human about me is being processed and put onto a computer system, which is then put on the internet computer system that human beings use. That's how it seems to work. Whilst controlling and patrolling and suppressing me in the reality around me. So I don't know how anyone will see that. I don't know how anyone will see that, but you know, that is how it is, and that's what's taken place. And how this has all come about, I don't know. I am told and have reason to believe that it's true that this surveillance and this mind control and this mind reading connection with technology has always been part of my reality. In other words, it's something that's been lifelong, but I've been unaware of it, because until they openly expose their total mind control system around you, and even on the computer system, to where you openly see the artificial intelligent beings that are basically technology, because artificial intelligence is technology, isn't it? It's what it is. It's basically technology, 100%. So, you know, you have this system. Now, is it a simulation? That's a very good question. Of course, it probably is. So this is all just advanced technology that I, as a limited human being, thinking that I was living in a halfway normal, random, natural Earth, even though I know that the internet covers the so-called globe, all that is isn't, I now think. Everything appears real to me, but at the same time it also appears 100% controlled. But in reality, it's probably not fully real in the true sense, because if it's like a simulation, that kind of means that I'm in a video game reality where, like they show you on the video game reality computer system, that essentially the human being is like putting on those goggles, you know, where you put on the goggles and it takes over your sight and sound, and what you're seeing through those goggles then becomes very real to you. It becomes the reality. You actually think that's the reality in front of you, whereas you're really standing in a totally different area, but you've got the goggles on, and then what you see through the goggles, or through what's on what the images are projected onto that device that you have on your head, then becomes your reality. I could show it on screen if I could find it, but they show it on a lot of the advertisements and on the things on the internet even. So so that's it. And I think perhaps I was gonna show some more things on the internet, but I'm getting too tired. I'll have to close off for today. I can hear the androids starting to crawl around me outside the house. That means that that's just simply that the neighbourhood watch is really an android watch. So what you think are random neighbours, random civilians, they're always coming into your physicality, because they're part of the patrol control system. It's a total artificially intelligent system in the city of Sydney. But how much of that is like part of what some people might call a kind of simulation is another thing. It's like, I now think that it is much more patrolled and controlled than what I think. You know, much more. But, you know, I still am guided by my senses. So what I see and what I hear is my reality. So although I'm talking big and saying it's simulation, I know that it's a total control city, and I know that most android human beings are part of it. I know that they're androids because they're anti-life. They have a psychopathic type nature. This I know by their actions, because when they're stalking and patrolling you in a negative manner for no apparent reason, because you don't actually know them, you have no interaction with them, they interact with you because they're trying to take something from you, and you have to say, they're taking my energy from me because they're making me feel a certain way. And there's banging going on coming outside. There's banging. Will the mobile pick up the banging? It's not loud enough to be picked up, I don't think. On the other hand, I'll probably stop the banging as soon as I open the little thing there. See, wait on it. It's just kind of show that I opened the little door there. But basically they played mind games with you because like there's someone next door. I've got the basically next door you have someone. See, this is why I say it's all covert, but it's surveillance and it's mind control, because like when I'm opening up that door, I hear someone opening up the door next door, but that won't come out on the thing. But essentially I hear someone opening up the door. See, there's always someone lurking around outside. Surveillance car. See, they're always making their presence felt. That's a neighbour coming out next door as soon as I open the door. You know, you heard the fly screen, bang, that's like they're all part of this surveillance system. And they're making noise, even though it's not mechanical or intrusive or, you know, technical noise like they normally send at the place. And, you know, I have the neighbours lurking outside the door. I could show them, but the minute I hear the door open, they will always be like stalking and patrolling and lurking around. You know, it's and loitering around. Loitering is the right word. Loitering used to be regarded as a very unlawful activity. But basically I have an entire suburb that loiters all around the streets. They stand around with their mobile phones waiting for you to come up. They always walk in front of you. They always pull their cars in and out in front of you. They leave their car engines running loud. They will sit in their cars with their headlights blazing in front, their engine running and go nowhere. Blatant patrolling surveillance. And there's nothing I can do about it. Every single day. And that's just the reality. How far you want to take it, how, how you... See, if you're part of it, and if you're an android being, your natural nature, from what I've told, is psychopathic and therefore all about power and control. So therefore, it's normal for these beings to be part of a surveillance and even human limiting system or community. They probably see it in a very, more useful or even positive light, I would think. But also, they're getting their necessary life force of human electricity from it. And they're also benefiting by being in proximity to a human, because then they can imitate a human being to the best of their ability so that they appear to be human. So therefore, they have full control. So you've got these... So we have all these loitering people around, which I'm not going to show, but, I can hear their voices. There's always people outside this door lurking around, apart from, usually when I'm filming, but they can only stave off their need for energy for so long. They're energy vampires, and because there's so many of them, they need continual human electricity in order to just keep breathing. So this is the problem. So they can't stay off for very long. See how every time I open that door, the next door comes out and bangs the fly screen. That means they're like continually watching and showing their presence, but it's still covert. It's still like hidden. Can I prove this? I don't think so. You know, they have to be in your energy. See how they just continually coming to the door and banging the fly screen. I don't know if the mobile's picking that up, but that's just letting you know that they're watching you and they're surveilling you. But that also exposes to me that they're part of the, you know, they're part of this community patrol system. I haven't got the light on here, even though it's now daylight. But you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, in other words, you've got like the entire west section of the city of Sydney as what you'd call a community surveillance system around particular isolated human beings. That way they can pick up their human qualities and traits from them, but at the same time also take the human energy from them, which evidently gives them, you know, not just a sense of power, but it gives them like physical power. So it means that they actually have more energy to get round, which is why the human being then becomes lifeless and they become temporarily powered, even though they really are dead beings, like that internet android was exposing. And the only reason I say internet android exposing is because the internet is basically a human mind control or mind monitoring system, and it is transhumanism, unfortunately. So it's unfortunate for a human being. It only benefits the androids, really. It's their system. It's part of technology, and as you can imagine, human beings are not really meant to be part of technology, because if human beings were at their highest level, technology wouldn't be needed. But also technology was never, you know, given to human beings for the purpose of human beings benefiting from it, I don't think. This is the main problem with computers and all that sort of thing. But anyway, I think I will stop this video here now, because I'm not really proving too much of a point. So, yeah, the teams are coming in, the surveillance teams are coming in outside. I just might be able to show it, perhaps. Okay. And notice how immediately, as soon as I opened the door, the pretend human surveillance team comes into play, and a truck did just come in too, but unfortunately I was too slow opening the door, because that just simply means that they're going to pile in, you know, the military patrol trucks onto this small dead-end street today. So I shall, you know, keep going, shall we say. And might just so I'll just try to prove the point once more. Oh, what on? See, I missed that truck. So that's that is the garbage patrol system in the suburb of Leichhardt. Basically, in the suburb of Leichhardt, wherever you go, lurking outside, always people lurking outside, but in the suburb of Leichhardt, you have like, I'll just have to come away from that door, but you have these garbage trucks that go around 24/7 in one suburb, whereas normally you would have garbage picked up once or twice a week, whereas you have garbage basically being picked up 24/7 in a small suburb, just like that garbage truck, which I was not able to film, just went straight past. When it's not garbage day or night, garbage should only be picked up once a week in this small dead-end street, and yet you have garbage trucks going up and down, usually with bright flashing lights on them, particularly of a night time. The lights are literally so bright and flashing. That's hypnotizing, because mind control can be physical. Mind control with bright flashing lights, whether it be on a computer screen or with vehicles and what's around you in your reality, that is hypnotizing, because it disorientates your mind. It takes over your sight completely. And flashing lights are hypnotizing. This is actually, you don't even have to be scientific to realise that. It actually is disorientating. So that means that then whatever they want, they can take over your mind. This is not hard. This is hard to explain, but if you experience it, you will understand it completely. If something takes over your senses, your sight and your sound completely, to where you're temporarily, say, in a haze, or you're disorientated, you can't think properly, that's the whole purpose. They don't want you to think clearly. They don't want you in your own mind. They want to take over your mind. That's the purpose. That's what it is. So, I better finish up here. I could keep going. If I could keep going, I could show the vehicles coming onto the street, how the minute you go to the door, there will always be the presence of the androids on the street, whether it be in the local neighbourhood houses, next door, on the street, on the neighbourhood streets, the main street. All this goes on all the time. It's basically a total hidden surveillance system, but it's also a hidden control system, because, like I say, it's not just about watching, it's not about safety, it's not about any of those things, because it's almost like they're assuming that you have done something wrong, so therefore they're punishing you for something you've done that's that it's almost as though you've got to. It's almost like their mentality seems to be like, you've done something wrong, but the law can't operate to punish you for it, so they're punishing you for it. But essentially they're punishing you for being a human being, because actually you haven't broke even any of their laws. They're actually breaking their own laws, because loitering, stalking and harassing and injuring a human being, either psychologically or physically, and usually both, is against the law, but against their laws that they make. They break their own laws, but in their mind, you've broken their law because their law is you are not allowed to be a human being. You're not allowed to act human, you're not allowed to be human, because they're all about power and control. They're artificial intelligence in a human body, so they're about total control. And they're like, a human being isn't about total control. So therefore, they have to totally control you. And so therefore, you are breaking their code of silence, really, because it's their law, but they operate under a code of silence where they're really like anti-life anarchists or anti-life community beings that are combining in a community control system of a human being. I don't think I'm explaining this well. I better stop the video.